Good morning, guys. So, just talk this morning. The kids got off to school pretty good. I did get up earlier this morning, and about 5:30. I got up about 5:30, and I started getting Chastity ready, which is a really good time. It gives us about an hour to get ready and eat and everything and do whatever else I have to do in the morning time for the kids. And we eventually walked out the door, I think about between 6:30 and 6:40 something. So we did pretty good this morning. We're getting used of the morning drop off because, like I said yesterday, Chastity usually catches the school bus, but because of COVID, she'll no longer be riding the school bus because of what happened. Um, anyway, I'm tired, y'all. I cannot get on a decent sleep schedule. I don't know what's going on with me, but I am exhausted. And then I guess to add to it, I have had Chastity for almost 4 weeks. For almost 4 weeks at home. Almost 4 weeks. I've lost count. I don't know if this is the third week or the fourth week, but she's finally going back to school. So I'm tired. My sleep schedule is kind of all over the place. And then you have to remember I was working in a hospital, so I'm used to getting up early 12-hour days. So I have not settled down into a good sleep schedule at all. Um a little about myself. I am from Louisiana, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Um I had my first kid. I had my daughter at 24. Yeah, I was 24 or going on 25. And yeah, I've come a long way, guys. You know, a long, long way. Um, After Hurricane Katrina, we were living in Texas before, and I just had my daughter then, and then we moved back home because I became homesick and I miss my family. Worst decision ever. Worst. You know, when you're that young, you're so used to being around your family, you're not thinking about like. So, like I was saying, I came back home. I went back home, and then I felt like it was the wrong decision because I was actually doing better in Texas during that time. Texas actually just has an abundance of jobs, better job opportunities, better schools and stuff. But at that time and during that age, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just so used to being around my family, and I wasn't used to not having them around me. I grew up around all of my aunts and uncles and cousins and just the community. It was such um, a big switch for me at that time, especially since I had a young, small child at the time. I was just used to having a certain type of support system that wasn't necessarily here. I wasn't thinking about the opportunities I left behind. So I kind of feel like when I went back, I wasted like so much time, over 10 years. I mean, but I like to be a pretty stable person, so I didn't move back. Me and the kids, we from about kindergarten to pre-K, they stayed in the same area, the same school, and we were in the same house all the way until they got into like middle school and high school, and then I decided to move back to Texas. But I kind of feel like I lost so many opportunities that was here because I was homesick. I think because Katrina took the opportunity, like it took the choice away from you. Like if you were living in a certain area in Louisiana, you didn't really have a choice but to move because everything was basically destroyed, right? So it didn't really give you that choice. And once we did move back, nothing was the same. I would like to say nothing has ever went back to being the same, especially in a lot of the black communities. But anyway, yeah, I went through that. My daughter actually first got her first diagnosis here in Texas after Katrina. She more than likely had a diagnosis back at home, but she was so young during that time they didn't want to give her an actual diagnosis or they didn't want to give her the diagnosis because they didn't want to feel like they were at fault, because she actually was going to the hospital where she was born at when she was getting the diagnosis. So anyway, we are here. We've been here for 4 years. I think 4 years, going on 4 years. So I just got tired. I packed up my stuff and I moved myself and my kids on my own. Like I was done. I was done, with being where we were. I felt like I wasn't moving forward. I didn't like the support system I had was no longer there, and there was no forward movement. So why would I? I didn't want to stay stagnant. I went through a lot before I moved, talking about mental health issues, like a lot. And by that time, my daughter had to be about, Chastity is 17 now. 14, 13. She had to be around that age, right? Going through preteens or teenage years. And I was so stressed out because I didn't feel like I was going forward. I just felt like I was stagnant. And I didn't want to be stagnant. Like, I was being a good mom to my kids, but there was nothing in particular going on in my life. I wasn't moving forward. And I had these people around me that just fed into whatever was going on. I would just like ask for help and tell people I need assistance, and they would just ignore me. So I was basically raising a disabled child on my own. And then my daughter had started just changing, going through all of these behavior issues. Just the stress of raising a disabled child on your own had me like kind of in a funk and in a depression. So I'm a really, really big advocate for mental health awareness, because I went through a very, very dark time in my life. Very, very dark time. Very depressing, very depressed, hopeless, feeling like, because I kept trying and I just felt like, well, maybe this is it for me. Maybe I don't have any other reason to be here. Very, very dark times, guys. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. Very depressed, want to say even suicidal, just very dark times in my life where I had to basically pull myself out of the funk and move on and do what I need to do, because in Louisiana, they have very, very poor mental health services. Very poor. We had a governor that shut down all of the mental health services, everything, everything. So during the time I fell into a depression, they didn't have much of anything. Um, I was admitted. I want to say I was admitted to into a hospital for depression, and when I came out, they didn't even have services for me right away. It was so bad when I came out. Let me tell you, when I came out for outpatient services, I left in order to get my head together and not go back into the darkness I was in. I took my kids, I dropped them off at their relatives' houses, and I left because I knew mentally I was not in a state of mind to go back to the same house I was in when I fell into that depression, because there was no one offering me help. It was like, okay, you could go get some outpatient services and we'll call you. Not right away. Waiting, like, okay, wait for us to call you. We'll call you for an appointment. When I tell you the services was so bad and it sucked so bad that when I did leave, I left to go to another state and work just to clear my head and get myself together, because I wanted to, at that point, I wanted to take me and my kids out of that environment, and nobody else was like helping me. So I had to do what I had to do. So I left to leave and work and stack my money. When I tell you months passed before somebody called me for an outpatient appointment, this is how bad the mental health services are in Louisiana. Months. Months. So imagine if I had just went back home and sat, right, and had become depressed again. Months. And I want to tell you how bad a lot of mental health services are, especially in the Black community, right? Because mental health and being depressed is already like stigmatized in the Black community. So when I tell you months had passed, I was in a totally different state before they called me, before anybody called and reached out to me. ridiculous. So I want to tell you today, if you feel like you're in a certain situation or you're depressed, you're in a dark place and you feel like you can't get the assistance you need, it is okay to move. If you feel like you don't have the strength, call somebody. Call a doctor, call anybody, call a hospital, just go. Don't listen to anybody that's trying to hold you back. And it's okay to pray, church is okay, but if you need like medical assistance, because most people that's going through mental illness, depression and stuff, they need medical assistance like ASAP. Don't sit there. Don't go back home. Don't sit in the darkness. Go get you assistance. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like had I not advocated for myself, had I not got up and left, my situation could have been more dire. So I did what I had to do for myself, and now I'm here. I felt like listening to everybody else, including family members, I would have never been, I would have never moved on. I would have never been where I am now. And I feel like I'm in another state or point in my life where I'm moving up even higher. But it's because I listen to what it is that I need to do, right? I listen to my intuition. I listen to God or whatever you want to call it. When something tells me to move, I move. I don't listen to naysayers. I don't care if you're family. I don't care if you're friends. If I feel like I need some type of services and I need something, and you want to tell me what to do or what not to do, but yet you're not offering the help or the services for me, I'm not going to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? Because so many people have found themselves in that situation. Well, it's going to be okay. Oh, just pray, blah, blah, blah. And that person didn't live to see the next day because you told them to just pray or you just brushed off what was going on with them. No, don't do that. You don't have to listen to anybody, guys. If you need help, go get help. If you have to bring your kids with you, go get the help and the services that you need. Because in a lot of our communities, a lot of people aren't going to step up and help you. A lot of people really don't know about mental illness. A lot of times, all black people know how to do is pray and go to church. And a lot of times, you need more than that to survive mental illness. So that's a little history on myself and how me and my kids ended up leaving Louisiana and coming to Texas. But before then, I traveled, guys. I know everybody isn't able, but traveling is very good for mental health. Getting out of the environment you in, because, like my doctor told me at the time, um, mental illness and depression could be two things. It could be environmental, or it could be medical. Right? Environmental means something going on in your environment, something out of your control. Sometimes it could be out of your control. Sometimes it could be in your control. That could cause depression. Or two, it could be something medically going on with you as like a chemical imbalance. And it could be something that needs to be treated with medication. So I'm here to tell you never to give up on yourself, regardless of what the situation is. If you have to go, go. Because a lot of situations can be environmental. It can be environmental. It can be the situation you're in. It can be the people you're around. It can be the family you're around. It can be generational. You don't know how to get yourself out of this situation. Move, go. Go. Reach out for help if you have to leave in the middle of the night, if you just have to go. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit in that darkness, you guys. Do not sit in the darkness. And in a link in my description box, I will leave the 1-800 number for suicide prevention and mental health assistance. Okay, that's just a little something I wanted to talk about, because mental illness is very much real. It's very, very real, especially in the black community. We're seeing it more and more because I'm going to be honest, you know what I'm saying? A lot of black people thought it was a white thing. Nothing is just a white thing. We all bleed red. We all bleed the same color blood. None of our blood is a different color. So why would you think that an illness is just for a specific group of people? You know what I'm saying? I could say more on it, but I'm gonna just say that, you know, no sickness is just for a specific group of people. We all have brains. We all have brains, right? Mental illness means that there's something mental. So yeah, if you need help, reach out and get the assistance you need. If that person won't help you, reach out to somebody else. I'm gonna cut this short because my phone is acting crazy, you guys. But mental illness and depression, and it's very much real. I just wanted to end on this note before my phone cut off again. Get the help that you need. If you're able to help someone, reach out and help that person, okay? And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.